Hello everyone, and welcome into the third episode of the Gannon Golden Knights Coaches Show. We're back here at the Sheraton Erie Bayfront, once again overlooking the bay. Got a little bit of snow, but that didn't stop us from coming in to record this new episode. Joining us first here today is women's volleyball head coach Matt Darling. Thanks for coming in.
Thanks for having me, Dave.
All right, so got to brave the snow as you're used to doing in Erie anyway, but that, like we said, that doesn't really stop us. And sort of similarly, COVID, it hasn't been able to completely stop us. Kind of going through just in like a chronological order there. Last spring, whenever that started and we had to send everyone home, that's kind of in the middle of your spring practice season, right?
Yes.
What was it like to have to deal with that?
It was, I think it was a little scary for everybody. Maybe more so from a standpoint just of the unknown of the whole thing. I mean, those days in mid-March where things were getting canceled left and right, just I think, people just were wondering, are we safe? What's going to happen? But this team really took it very well. We had some really good team meetings during which we decided, what's best for the team. From a volleyball standpoint, things were kind of off the table. We realized that soon enough that we weren't going to be doing much, which was frustrating. It's a team that has high goals, and if you're going to reach high goals, you have to have a high level of preparation, and in ways that's obvious to everybody. When you're not doing anything, it's kind of hard to prepare. But as you move from the spring into the summer, you start to see that there's other ways to do preparation, and we started doing team. Really good conversations at the team about what it is that makes for a appropriate goal heading into a season where we knew that there were possibilities of cancellations and things of that nature. And it was good that we did that because first we found out that the PSAC wasn't going to play, and then we found out that there wasn't going to be an NCAA championship, and all along the team I think showed really good resilience. I'm not saying that everybody was just okay, let's move on to the next one, but I mean at a certain point. Without a lot of gnashing of the teeth, we just kind of took on the next challenge. And also, as you know, we were fortunate to be able to practice and do some inter-squad scrimmages during the fall. So I think we've dealt with it pretty well.
All right. I was just talking to Kenzie, who we're going to see up here next, and you guys had a number on how many days went between actually facing another team, because you just got to scrimmage Bowling Green this past week. So I imagine the longest stretch you've gone without coaching a match against another team?
Yeah, as long as I was coaching. I had a year off or two here and there. But yes, so 399 days from our quarterfinal loss in 2019 to our exhibition match on Friday night. So 399 is just better than 400. You know how that is. I mean, that would have seemed like too long.
Way too long.
Yes.
So speaking of that, so you got to face another team, see another team across the other side of the net, and while you guys practice throughout the fall and continue to get ready, it's not quite the same whenever you're going up against the same people day after day. So what was that like? What did you see out of the team?
Well, I saw that first of all, the team realized, I think, just how great of an opportunity that it was. We talked before the match to say, look, we're doing something that feels like a national championship just because of the how unique it felt.
Right.
Not having played for so long, and I've sort of adopted a philosophy which I've shared with the team that this year the only way that we're losing is if we're sitting at home. As long as we're on the court playing, that's a win. And I think they really embraced that attitude. So from their standpoint, it seemed like the energy was good, the enthusiasm was high, and that's really what I wanted. For me, I mean, I've coached a lot of matches, and it was one of the most exciting matches, honestly, just because of how long it had been since we played, and just some of the obstacles that seemed to have been in between us and actually playing over the past 8-9 months, and so it was a thrill.
All right, and that's kind of going to get to serve as a lead-in to you guys playing a spring season. Like I said, we're not going to have any PSAC competition, but we've worked to build schedules, and I know you guys looking at our big list of tentative events that we're getting ready to publicize once they get finally approved and everything. We're going to be playing some matches. We're going to go out and see what we can do. It's definitely going to look a little bit different, but what's that process been like to essentially build a schedule from scratch?
It's something that we started even in maybe November and December. Been having conversations just with schools. Even in the fall, some schools knew what they were going to be capable of doing and what they weren't. And so we've sort of stayed in touch with those people. We're very grateful that Gannon has supported us all the way. And we feel fortunate to have, Clarion and Mercyhurst looking like they're going to play us. We've got some out of league competition. It's a different. It's kind of like back in the old days, like in the early days of coaching, when you're just calling up your friends and saying, "Hey, let's play a match." But we have, 16 or 18 tentative competitions set up. We're realistic. We're shooting for 10 or 12. If we get 10 or 12 matches in, we're going to feel really good about it.
Right. And then another thing that actually you just told me before we got on here that I found sounded like a great idea there, but the AVCA, the Coaches Association, is looking to put something together that will look a lot like a national tournament, right?
Yes. So the American Volleyball Coaches Association, in partnership with the people who run the Lone Star qualifier, they have a facility. They have dates in mid-April. Just trying to work out some of the logistics. Obviously, COVID contingent, but I really appreciate, again, these organizations like the AVCA that are just really trying to promote volleyball. Like, they're not in it for themselves. Like, what can we do to make this experience great for your coaches and your players? And I think they realize that not having a championship is kind of a drag. And so, can they fill that void? We're not sure exactly what the format's going to look like, but it'll be a multi-team, kind of invitational style tournament. And if it gets us 3 or 4 more matches, then I think we'll probably try to take advantage of it.
Right. All right. So looking forward to getting out there, seeing you guys, having you guys get back in the Hammerl Center again. So that wraps up all the questions that I have about volleyball. Now here is another segment. I don't know if you've watched an episode yet, but we call it our Fast Five segment. It's just 5 quick questions, have nothing to do with volleyball, nothing to do with Gannon, and just wanted to maybe get to know you a little bit more.
Well, I didn't really know that this was coming, and I'm not, I'm not exactly known for my great interior life, but I'll let you fire away.
All right, so we'll hit you with what I hope is an easy one. Actually, probably gonna be a hard one for you. What is your favorite book?
Ooh, it is hard. I will say that I guess I'm going to go with Marcel Proust's multi-volume In Search of Lost Time is one way to translate it. Remembrance of Things Past is the translation of the edition I read. 3,300 pages, so not something you can pick up on the weekend, but I read that in a time of my life when it was transformative.
All right. Let's see here. Favorite movie?
I guess I would probably go back to my all-time favorite movie, the movie that I've enjoyed watching over and over again, is Pulp Fiction. I just think that for its time, it was highly innovative, and I watched it with a big crowd of people the first time I saw it, and it was awesome.
All right. Let's see. What's your dream car?
I'm driving it. I try to convince my kids that the 2007 Toyota Yaris, which is currently sans hood ornament and all of its rust, is the best car possible. It parks great on Erie. I can even find parking with it on a snowy day in Erie. So you tell me if there's a better car.
There you go. That's a great point. All right. Let's see. What's your favorite band or song or type of music?
Well, I mean, I like. I mostly listen to classical music if I'm in the office or if I'm doing work. So that's probably my go-to there.
All right. And last one, what's your dream vacation?
Dream vacation. I guess I have a couple places that I've always wanted to go to. I want to visit Aztec ruins at some point, but I'd like to go to Machu Picchu. These are all on hold right now, though, Dave. You know how it is. I just like to get out and take a walk these days.
You had all those booked over the summer and then weren't able to do that, right?
Yeah, I should stick to the books now and do the vacation later. How's that?
All right, so that's the Fast Five segment, and that's all we have for you. Matt Darling, thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Dave.
All right, and we'll be right back after this.
Bianchi Honda knows winter does not slow us down in Erie. We're tough. So why not drive an SUV that fits who we are? Like in the 2020 Honda CR-V LX all-wheel drive that you can now lease for only $198 per month. Erie is who we are. Honda is what we drive.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Gannon Golden Knights Coaches Show. Joined here in segment 2 of episode 3 by Gannon volleyball junior Kenzie Lasher. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
All right. So how have things been going? You're back here for the spring semester, which is starting a little bit late, and it's going to look very different to your past couple spring semesters,
That's
right?
for sure, yeah. No, it's been going good. We actually got in the end of December, and we were able to get our team together and practice, and it was just so nice to get back on the court because we did have a month off after our whole fall season, which we got to play a few inter-squad scrimmages, but we never got to play another team, which we thought we were at the end, like have a last hurrah. But unfortunately that got canceled because of COVID and testing wasn't able to come back. But getting back on to the court, coming back this January has been great for our team, and we're all excited to just get better and see where this season might go.
Right. So what was that fall semester like whenever, you usually be ramping up in August and getting ready, you have a schedule in front of you and everything, and this one kind of was a lot of wait and see while you guys just went on with your regular practices, right? How was that?
Yeah, it was definitely disappointing to a point because obviously we all love to compete. We love to see how far we can go, what we can do, and challenge ourselves. But under these circumstances, I think my coach and our team did the best we could and made the best out of the circumstances that we were given. And I know that we competed hard, and when we did have inter-squad scrimmages, we were against each other. We didn't take it easy on each other. We were pushing each other just like a typical match. But yeah, it was familiar faces on the other side, but we definitely made the most of it, and with what we could, we did and had a lot of fun doing it.
Right. And then speaking of that, just talked with your coach about that, and you got to see another team across the net for the first time in 399 days, which is pretty crazy to see. But what was that like? First of all, just getting on a bus and going to travel to another team.
It was amazing, honestly. We actually, our captains have sent us a list about things to travel with and what we make sure we bring our warm-ups, which is everything to bring. And we were like, wow, we haven't packed for a game in forever. Do I remember how to do this, go on the bus, all of that? But no, it was definitely so nice to just take that bus ride, and you don't realize how much you miss bus rides until you don't do it for 399 days, and you're like, wow, you're actually going to see a team and all of this stuff. And when we got there, just the atmosphere of being in a new gym, actually having someone across the net that wasn't your teammates and that you knew you were going to see new things thrown at you, and just that competitive nature that a game brings out of you, it was awesome to feel again.
Right. And what did you guys see out about the lineup? I'm sure it looked a little bit different. Got some different people in from last year. What did that look like?
No, I definitely think we all meshed together, and we're all just getting used to working with each other because we haven't had that experience on the court, and that's where you really see you can do drills in practice and everything like that, but whenever you're put into a game-like situation, it is just the flow between everyone, and everyone's learning oh, you can get to that ball, I don't have to get that ball, I'll get the short one, you get the deep, just stuff like that. It's game-like situations, you really work on that and you figure that little stuff out. Right. And it was nice, the freshmen coming in, I thought they did fantastic whenever they were put in, and they worked with everyone really well, and we're just kind of getting used to it.
All right. So let's see. You're a junior mechanical engineering major. Mm-hmm. How are classes going? I'm sure those aren't the easiest ones to get through, but what's that been like?
No, it's been good. It definitely has its ups and downs sometimes. Stressful moments, lots of coffee. But I know this semester I have 3 labs that I'm going to be getting through, and so I'm going to have to stay on top of everything. But to me, I think having volleyball and having a tough major, it makes my schedule stay very organized, because I know I only have 2 hours before practice to do something, so I can't go take my normal 2-hour nap. I got to get it done, and it just kind of keeps me on task, and it pushes me because I do worry about my grades and everything, and I also care so much about volleyball, so I know those are my priorities, and it just kind of keeps me organized on how to get through it, and hopefully it all works out.
What initially brought you to Gannon?
Definitely, I think the seller for me was the team, because I knew I wanted to go for mechanical engineering, and I had talked to some other schools and they didn't think I could play volleyball and do mechanical engineering together. And whenever I had talked to coach, he was like, no, and him being a professor, he's very about our studies, and he wants us to succeed in that as well and cares about that. So to me, it was a no-brainer that I would have a good balance between the two, and our volleyball team's fantastic here, the program's fantastic, the team atmosphere was something I loved and I felt like I would fit into, and so it kind of, whenever I came here, I was just all right, Mom, I'm going there. I want to.
All right, and then talk about your time with the volleyball program there. You came into a team that was just coming off an Elite Eight appearance, played a lot as a freshman, and then played a lot last year on a team that went back to the Elite Eight. What's it like coming into that program and just that standard that the team sets for itself?
It was crazy, honestly, because it's something growing up around sports my whole entire life, loving them. It's just, you dream of it as a little girl, like to go to that championship. Everyone wants a ring. Like, I want to show it off to my kids, be like, look what your mom did, like that kind of stuff. And just to see like the team atmosphere and like how competitive and how driven this team was to succeed, it's like, I know that that's my mentality and that I want to win. And I felt like I could like push myself past my limits during this program or in this program. And it's been amazing. It's amazing ride, and I can't wait to see what else we can accomplish my time here.
All right. Well, that wraps up the volleyball and Gannon-related questions.
Mm-hmm.
And now you got to cheat a little bit and watch your coach do the Fast Five, so now you know. But now the real test starts. See how much you can impress Coach Darling. What's your favorite book?
See, I was worried about this question because he is an English major. And I don't think I've read a book for at least like 10 years. So if I had to pick, sorry, Coach, my bad.
He's having a mental breakdown in the corner, but that's okay.
But I might have to say, I really enjoyed the Hunger Games when I read that, so I might go with that. Not very, like, great, but
no,
I liked it.
Serves its purpose.
Yeah, it was a book.
All right, your favorite movie?
Probably the Avengers. I love superheroes, and my team knows because I have a ton of superhero socks too that I wear all the time. But I just absolutely love the Avengers.
All right, let's see. Dream car.
Ooh, that's tough. I mean, I kind of always said a Mustang, but definitely just some kind of sporty car. I think it would be cool.
All right, dream vacation.
Erie County, what gets better than this? No, honestly, probably some Clearwater Beach, maybe the Bahamas, just something like that.
All right, especially on a day like today.
Yeah.
All right, and last one, favorite band or song?
Probably, well, I'm very into country, so I'd probably go just the whole Morgan Wallen new album now is like what I've been having on replay, so I love that.
All right. That wraps that up. Gannon Volleyball Junior Kenzie Lasher, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
And good luck this spring.
Thank you.
And we'll be right back with our final interview of the day. Gannon women's basketball coach, Cleve Wright, is here.
What is Gannon? A place where you are transformed.
Where you can find yourself and define who you want to become.
A university grounded on faith and inclusiveness.
That values your well-being and growth.
Forming a family inspired by global connections.
A community that builds on our traditions with a vision for the future.
That believes in the possibilities.
And more importantly, believes in you.
This is Gannon.
This is Gannon.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Gannon Golden Knights Coaches Show. Joined now by Gannon women's basketball coach, Cleve Wright. Thanks for coming in today.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
All right, we're going to get right to it because you need to run out and get to practice.
Yes.
Back last March, you guys were getting ready to host an Atlantic Regional after an incredibly successful season, and then everything kind of came to a halt along with the rest of the world.
Yes.
So what was that? You've talked about it a lot before, but just again, what was that like for the team, for you?
It's surreal. I mean, you just couldn't believe it. You couldn't believe that here we had won the conference championship and then get a chance to be number 2 in the region and host the NCAA tournament. I mean, you just couldn't have asked for anything better, and then it's just taken away from you really quick. And as a coach, you have to adjust really, really quick, knowing that your players are going to be emotional. And so that was tough to do. We did it. I thought our leaders handled it well and did a great job with it. Actually, Haley and Chelsea were just fantastic about it. And of course, they had the most to lose.
Right. And then that was kind of the abrupt change. And then as things went on, things changed a little bit, got different, had different things. I mean, the most recent one was probably that the PSAC season was canceled, but there's still NCAA championships this season. We're still working to put together a schedule that I know you've had fun with that. But so that in between time, what was that like over a weird summer and a weird fall? Kind of how you handled it, how the team.
Your definition of fun is not quite my definition of fun, but a little bit of a roller coaster ride, and I'm not a big roller coaster fan. Everything from, we got a game here to now it's gone to we can start now, then we got to start later, and it's just it was a lot of hurry up and slow down, hurry up, slow down, hurry up, slow down, hurry up, slow down, and that can wear on your emotions. I think our team handled it fabulously. They really did. We got a chance to work on a lot of things in the fall that were really that were good for us to work on. Even backing up even to the summer and the spring, I think our kids handled that as well as they possibly could. And but as we've gotten into the fall and we've started working on the scheduling, we're hoping that works. I mean, obviously it was a blow when PSAC canceled the conference championships and the conference schedule. And now you're trying to put together, I mean, you're not used to, and normally it would be put together 4 or 5 games. Now I'm trying to get 15 to 20 games as best you can, and we're probably not going to reach that limit of 22, but we're going to try and get as many as we can. We're going to try and play as many as we can.
Right. And speaking of that, you got to play last week against Miles, got 2 wins, started out the year 2-0.
Yeah.
Later than your normal season debut would be in November, but you got there, and that has to be an accomplishment in itself, I think.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, we were extremely happy to play, and my comment has been, it's just really weird to talk about November stuff in January. But we need to talk about that stuff and with our team, and we're still trying to figure out who we are. And in practice, you think you've got it figured out what it might look like, but games bring a whole different aspect to it with the pressure and the different things that you have to deal with. So your identity of your team is really formed not just in practice, but a lot of times in games and what that's going to look like. And so we got a chance to play a couple games, and they were interesting. I thought they were quite a bit different. I thought Miles College came out in the second game and showed some pride, and that was their 4th game. And they're a good team. They'd won 20-plus games in their league. They were picked to, I think, number 1 in their division or in their league, or very close to it. And so they were a good team. And so, but I thought we responded well in that second game, being down. I think we were down 14 points in the first half. And we're able to come back, and we kind of had both. We had a kind of a blowout in the first game, and then we had a close game. So we've kind of had. That was nice to have, though.
Right.
So we see who's going to react and how we're going to react.
Right. What'd you learn about the team and seeing them against outside competition for the first time?
Yeah, I think it was nice to see. I think in practice we seemed pretty well connected. I thought we were connected during the games. It was nice to see the confirmation of that we have good chemistry and some of those things. The thing that has to happen now is we need to get a little bit more depth. And some of that has been because of injuries or surgeries or different things like that that's kind of limited us a little bit. But then there's opportunities out there. And what's really fun is to see players step up that hadn't had a chance to step up last year. And those kids get a chance to show what they're made of and be able to get a chance to contribute.
Right. All right. Let's see here. So you got more. I forget what we've released on the schedule there, but and you touched on it. But how different is that to be? Even you're still building the schedule now in January,
yes.
And usually, like you said, it'd be done in the spring before. So I mean,
Right.
what's that been like? You had the stop and go in the fall, and now
Right.
you have the stop and go now. So what do you tell the team whenever it turns out, okay, well, we're not doing this one, but now we're getting ready for this game?
Right. Well, I think early on it could be especially like with the PSAC when that happened, there can be a really big, I think now they almost kind of okay, well, we'll just figure it out. And so the weird thing is as a coach, is trying to get that rhythm with practice. Like usually at this point in the year, we would be in a rhythm with practice where we would be doing certain things on certain days, and we know when our games were because we'd be playing every Wednesday and Saturday. And And rhythm gives you confidence, and it gives you, your body's getting a rhythm, and you can play better. And now that that's off a little bit, it's a little bit like what your preseason would be when you've got games here and there and off, and now you're playing back-to-backs, and you never play back-to-backs,
right.
ever. You know, volleyball plays back-to-backs, but we don't play back-to-backs. And so it's a different kind of look and feel. But again, we have to be flexible, and we have to adapt. And if this is the way we have to compete, then there's no excuses. We have to compete, and we're going to compete to the best of our ability.
Right.
So.
All right, that's all the basketball questions I had. You also got a teaser of the Fast Five segment.
Here we go.
5 quick questions, have nothing to do with basketball, nothing to do with Gannon.
Okay.
And we get to see how much you can impress Matt Darling.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go.
So starting off, what's your favorite book?
I think we were touching base about this before. And the most recent book that I read, and I'm kind of like that, I can get into books, but I just most recently read Mindset by Carol Dweck, which is for teachers and coaches and parents, and talking about growth mindset versus fixed mindset, and actually doing it with some coaches at Gannon, and it's been a lot of fun. But yeah, mindset. Hey, I got an answer.
There you go. All right, favorite movie?
Oh, gee, Merry Christmas. And see, I'm a little bit like that too, because I love movies. We watch so many movies, it would be really hard to pick out a single one, but I like, and this is probably old school, I like all the Star Wars stuff. I like Lord of the Rings. I like those trilogies. I like those type of things. Hunger Games is not as old as some of the others, but so I kind of get caught into that. I love superhero movies. I haven't seen the new Wonder Woman. Would love for our team to see that and for us to see that, but yeah, love those.
Right. All right, dream car?
Dream car would be a 1989 Porsche with the wing on the back. I think it's I can't remember the actual name of it, but I know what it looks like.
You know exactly what it looks like.
I could draw it for you.
All right, let's see here. Dream vacation.
Dream vacation. Yeah, I kind of go back. My honeymoon was in Cape Cod, Massachusetts, and we saw the Celtics and Larry Bird play on the first day. So that was kind of a dream vacation. But I do like the warmth too. So I would like to. I've never been to Jamaica. That would be a cool thing to do.
All right, and last one. Favorite band or song type of music?
Favorite band, huge growing up as a Journey fan. That was my young. Now I really like older. I like Casting Crowns, which is Christian music, but Journey when I was growing up was fabulous.
All right, that'll do it. That's Fast Five, and that's women's basketball coach Cleve Wright. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
And best of luck as you continue your season that's already started.
Appreciate it, Dave. Thanks for having me.
Thanks.
Bianchi Honda knows winter does not slow us down in Erie. We're tough, so why not drive an SUV that fits who we are? Like the 2020 Honda CR-V LX all-wheel drive that you can now lease for only $198 per month. Erie is who we are. Honda is what we drive.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Gannon Golden Knights Coaches Show. Got a special surprise here we're going to add on to the end of this latest edition with men's and women's cross-country coach John Carrig. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you for having me, David.
All right, it's a little bit of a special edition. This is filmed a couple days later than the rest of the episode that you guys just saw. That's probably why the last part said we'll see you next week. This is still technically next week, but you're going to see it all at once. So I'm going to hop right into it here. You're one of the, deans of the athletic program at Gannon, right?
Yes.
So out of the years that you've been here, probably haven't seen a year too close to what 2020 was like for us, have you?
Never. It was just incredible. That's all I could say.
So going back to last March, you guys weren't in season then. Usually had to some track meets and stuff like that, but kind of everything came to an abrupt halt. What was that like for you, for your athletes?
Well, for us, it wasn't very good. I mean, we stopped, I think it was March 17th, where kids all went home. So that was the end of our season. Luckily, we only had a couple meets planned. It wasn't a full season. So, but the kids went home and they ran, and it was just a bummer for everybody.
Right. How did that kind of change? Obviously, we'll get to the fall season being canceled there, but even when you would have brought them back in the fall, how your preseason would have looked like. I mean, how did that change without the ability to compete there in the fall?
Well, we lost a lot of summer training. We lost, our camp that we have for 10 days, and then we couldn't, we lost all our meets. We just didn't have a season, but fortunately we were allowed to practice. Starting in, I think it was the 1st or 7th of September, we were able to get our 45 days of practice, which really helped.
Right. How did that look different for the athletes? I know whenever me and you talk a lot about how it takes to, for cross country and runners in general, they have to be able to want to do it themselves. So they kind of still have to find that own intrinsic motivation.
Right.
But what was that like to not have kind of a meet to look forward to every weekend?
Yeah, well, that was the biggest thing. They wanted to compete. I think that out of talking to them all, they all wanted to compete because they trained hard. They wanted to compete. Luckily, we were able to get a couple inter squad races in, which really helped, and it was really good for us. It was just to get out there and do it, and then the season abruptly ended.
Right, and then so that was obviously bad news. We learned about that in July.
Correct.
And then as we said, we kept things going here at Gannon practice-wise. All of our sports did. But it's going to look a little bit different for you guys this year because announced there, I guess in November sometime, that we're still going to have a PSAC cross-country championship.
Correct.
That's going to look wildly different. You're going to be running, as there's some snow out here right now. It might still look like that whenever you're running, but how's that going to be different?
I'd like to say it seems like we have everybody back because it seems like last fall was, they graduated, but they didn't. They're all back this year. They're all looking forward to it. We're going to have a couple meets. Our championship is in March, which is going to be different. But we'll make the best of it. We'll go out and run, and we're used to running in this weather. We have a lot of kids, from Buffalo, New York area that love the snow. They got to put sunscreen on some days like this. So, we'll be okay. We'll go out, we'll make the best of it, like we always do.
Right. So that kind of, I don't know if it winds up actually stunting any kind of like growth you had, but I was interested to see what would happen this fall because you've had some really successful years, both the men and the women. The men have had 3 national qualifiers the past 2 years. Women have had multiple region runners. Just you talk about like the kind of the growth of that program and kind of, I don't know, finding a spot in the PSAC in the Atlantic region.
Yeah, I think we're moving up, and we're starting to get a little more respect from being in the PSAC because it's a tough conference. What's good for us is the NCAA granted everybody an extra year, and we have a lot of kids in the PA program that are planning on running again next year. They're seniors. They're going to use that 5th year again. Our men's team is real young. We have everybody but Ryan Garrett's back. He's off to med school, I think, next year. So I'm looking forward to it. I mean, hopefully, everything works out and we'll be better than we were.
Right.
Better than nothing that we had last year.
That's true. What kind of I don't know, what kind of kids do you look at when you're recruiting? I know you talk about a lot of people contact you reach out and contact people, but it's a different sport. Yeah,
right.
Like you said, it's a lot of your own motivation. You also wind up with, I don't know if this is just your magic, but you wind up with a lot of smart kids that put up a lot of really good numbers too.
Yeah, it's really not me. I think it's the school. You have to, because we are a great academic institution. And I think most kids pick the school for their academics first, and then the athletics second. If they want to be a big time runner, then they're going to go to a big time running school. But for here they look at, and I always ask them how much money they're going to make running, and not a whole lot. How much are they going to make with a degree, and they're going to make a lot more. So they come here for the academics, and then we just train them. They're hard workers, and. It's a great coaching staff we have, me and Rosie. So we just get, it just seems like we get the good kids, and they're motivated, they like to run, and that's the thing, you got to love the run, especially, without a track team that we don't have. And then with the weather combined with everything else, and I think we do a great job. Despite the not setbacks that we have, but the disadvantages that we have. I think we still do real well.
Right. No, it's funny you bring that up too, because I always, I am not amazed, but impressed whenever I'm driving home along 6th Street sometimes in the evening, and you see the kids running out through the slush around there because if the sidewalk isn't cleaned off, and they're running in the snow, running in the sleet and the rain, and something you got to do up here.
Right, and the reason why you probably see them running at 6 o'clock in the evening is because they had class all day, and that's the only time they have to run. So, our rules is you go to class first, and then you can run. If it's at 6 o'clock at night or 6 o'clock in the morning, whatever, would they still get their workouts in?
Right.
They're highly motivated.
Yes. All right. So that wraps up the cross-country portion of this.
Okay.
Now we're gonna hit the Fast Five segment.
Oh,
This
okay.
is 5 quick questions. There's nothing to do with Gannon, nothing to do with cross-country for you. Just get to know a little bit more about John Carrig, the man.
Okay.
So, ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right. What is your favorite movie?
Oh man, I'd have to say The Dirty Dozen.
Okay, that's a good one. Favorite band?
Van Morrison is my favorite singer. He does, he's got his band, but he's my favorite.
All right. How much do your runners listen to him in the van on the way to meets?
Probably not at all. They probably haven't heard of him.
All right. Favorite book?
Oh man, that's a hard one. You got me stumped there. I've been reading a lot of books lately. It's tough.
All right. What's the most recent one you read?
Oh, geez, I can't say it. It's I'm reading like 2 or 3 different books.
All right. Well, we'll catch you next time. You'll think about that before the next time you get here.
The one I have it's the one I got a couple for Christmas actually. The one it had a couple swear words on a cover.
Okay.
You might have seen it on, so I can't say it.
All right. What is your dream vacation?
Oh man, that's another one too. I don't know. Probably. I'll probably go to Europe somewhere, Ireland, one of those places that I haven't been before.
All right. And last one, what's your dream car?
Well, I'm gonna make a little joke. A Rolls down the hill, can hardly make it back up.
There you go. And that, I'm surprised it took that long to bring in JC's sense of humor into that, but that is it to a T if you guys don't know it. All right, John Carrig, head coach, men's and women's cross country here at Gannon. Thank you for joining us.
Okay, thank you for having me, Dave.
All right, and we will be back next week with the next edition of the Gannon Golden Knights Coaches Show. Thanks.